Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to discuss if anyone can even afford to ride anymore. We're stuck here in the dungeon once again. We're under extreme cold warnings here in Canada, so it's crappy outside and we're toasty down here. But anyway, first thing we've got to do is we've got to look at a couple of viewer bikes. And this is Ken's 1996 Fat Boy, and I'm going to read you his short email here. This is my stepson's 96 Fat Boy. He was killed in an automobile accident 7 years ago. The motorcycle was fully customized to make it his own, and he really liked to ride. It was in rough shape when he got it, and he brought it back to life. So sorry for your loss, Ken, and that is a beautiful looking Evo Fat Boy. Your stepson did a great job, and I'm sure we can all agree on that. Secondly, we have Alan's 2023 Fat Boy. He says it's still in stock form, but that may change soon. The picture looks like it is from the Valley of the Racehorse in southern England. So thanks to both of you for sending those pics and bikes in. If anyone else wants to see their machine on a video, send me some pics and the information. My email address is in the description to this video. Okay, folks, so can anybody even afford to ride anymore? And if we're going to talk about this, the first thing we have to look at is the price of the bikes. And of course, we're going to be looking at Harley Davidson, as this channel is basically a Harley channel. So recently I was out at the local dealership and I looked at some of the 2025s that had come in, and I really got a sense of some sticker shock looking at these bikes. Now looking at some of the touring carryover models, the Road King went up about $750. The Street Glide went up $1,750, and the Road Glide went up $2,000, and that is in US bucks, by the way. And those were the carryover models. Those were models that really didn't have anything new done to them this year other than colors. That was about a 8% bump in price there. And I mean, I can see year over year, maybe Harley wants to do a couple of $100, but a couple of thousand, like, come on, Harley. And the same went for the cruisers. The Lowrider ST, Breakout, and Fat Boy, basically everything went up by several $100s. And at least in Harley's defense, these bikes at least got some upgrades, such as the 117 engine, updated suspension, ride modes, etc. But it was actually the CVOs that really caught my attention. For example, the CVO Road Glide ST comes in at $54,999 in Canada and $44,999 in the US. And that's not even the most expensive model. The regular CVO Road Glide starts at a whopping $56,299 in Canada and $45,999 in the States. And those are crazy prices. I actually had someone out there tell me that that was basically the cost of their first house. Now, I've heard some people say, mostly online, that Harleys used to be the working man's bike, the bike that everyone could afford. Pardon me. But I was not around in the 60s, 70s, or wasn't buying bikes in the 80s for that matter. So maybe someone can let me know, some of the older folks in the comments, let me know what it was like back in the day. But I can tell you that even in my youth, Harleys were known as an expensive machine. Something folks also don't think about is maintenance, the cost of owning your bike. Now, if you're one of those folks who can work on your own bike, then that's great. This doesn't pertain as much to you, but there are still a lot of folks who take their bikes into the dealership. And there's nothing wrong with taking your bike into a dealership. I mean, you get a certified technician working on it, so you assume the work's going to be done well, and as it should be. And you also have all your records taken care of and documented, but it obviously can get very pricey. If you follow Harley's recommended service, you're going to have to bring it in at certain intervals. For example, if you have a new bike, you are recommended to bring in the bike for a first service to be done at 1,000 miles or 1,600 kilometers. Around here, that first service is going to set you back at least $500. You've also got a 10,000 mile service or kilometer service. That will cost you another $500. Not to mention an oil change in between that may cost you at least another couple of hundred. Now, I'm not sure what the labor rate is at a lot of dealerships. All I can tell you is that I am sure the hourly rate is well north of $100 an hour. And don't get me started on the price of parts and accessories. I mean, really, HD, what does that stand for? $100 here, $100 there. And now if you want to ride your bike, that's going to take fuel, gas. And the one thing about gas is it's usually all over the place. It's up, it's down. But the one thing I can say is generally it's not cheap. And especially around here, in at least Saskatchewan, Canada here, it's pretty heavily taxed. We have provincial sales tax, a federal sales tax, and a federal excise tax. Oh, and did I mention that our federal government has what they call a price on carbon, or what it really is, a carbon tax. And that one is the highest of all at 17 cents per liter. And if I'm correct, that would be the same as a little over 65 cents per gallon for you non-metric folks. And the best thing about our carbon tax is that it goes up every year on April 1st. April Fools to us indeed. So it just keeps getting more expensive, and I'm sure if they could find a way to throw another tax in there, they would. Now, how about insurance? In some places, maybe you don't need to insure your vehicle, but here you can't legally drive a vehicle without it being insured. And we have our government insurance, which is not cheap. For me to license my bike, it costs me at least double, if not more double, than it costs for me to license my car. In fact, I have an old 1988 Sportster Leaky Pete. That thing would actually cost me $50 to $60 more than my car to plate as well, which is pretty friggin' crazy. So to give you an idea of how it works around here, our insurance has a safety rating, and that can give you a discount. It also has a reduced no-fault insurance coverage. With the highest safety rating and the lowest coverage, it will cost me just over $1,900 a year, or about $160 per month. It's actually a little bit higher than that, actually. If I don't have that coverage and a bad safety rating, it could cost me just short of $3,600 a year, or roughly $300 a month to license my motorcycle. Now, when you put the cost of, insuring your bike and a loan, if you're financing the bike, you put those two together and you are paying hundreds of dollars a month just for the privilege of being able to ride a motorcycle. Now, there used to be some folks around here used to have a little bit of a way of getting around that, and that was by permitting their bike. You could permit your bike for 24 hours or I think up to 8 days. The only problem was once the insurers found out that people were doing that, they of course jacked the price of permits up, so now it's really not a whole lot of difference in price. So when you start putting all these factors together, the price of the bike, fuel, maintenance, licensing, it gets incredibly expensive. And I don't even want to think about how much I spend in a year on my bike. Now, I know what you're all, or some of you at least, are thinking as I'm talking about a new or newer bikes. And you're mostly correct. And some of us have older bikes. And this may not pertain as much to you, but around here at least, even if you have an older bike, you are still paying for the high cost of gas, insurance, and possibly maintenance. So I guess I'll put it this way. Having an older bike is definitely cheaper, but may not exactly be cheap. And I didn't even start on the implications of governments with things like possible tariffs or pushing things like EVs, because who knows, it may be one day you want to ride and you'll be forced to buy a newer electric bike, God forbid. But of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I can already hear what some people are thinking already. Hey, why don't you buy a Honda? Well, if you can't afford to ride it, why do you have it? Blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. Hey, you know what? If you want to put in sarcastic comments like that, please do, because any interaction you have with this video pushes it higher in the algorithm. So dickheads out there, send in your comments. But anyway, that is going to be it for today, and we will catch you in the next one.